I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here we are. Another day in paradise. This marked the controversial Christian. I'm sure if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know who I am. If not, welcome to my videos. I put one of these out every day. I've only missed one day because I had the coronavirus. Sometimes if I don't get it in there on time, it'll show I put it on the next day. But sometimes I have trouble with YouTube uploading stuff. They just, I don't know, sometimes they're slow. Kind of like me, getting a little older, get a little slower. But anyways, I'm going to talk a little bit today about the baby boomer generation, like people that are my age, born in the 50s and the 60s. We're going to go with some like post-baby boomers too. So if you was born in the 50s or 60s, even the early 70s, you might, I got some tidbits for you that might help you out a little bit. As far as, retirement goes and like that. So let's start with our morning opening prayer here. Let's do that. Today's the 20th day of April, 2021. It's a beautiful day here in Tennessee. I was just out. It's still a little cool. I was supposed to have frost last night, but I didn't see any. Here's our opening prayer. My God, my life is an instant, an hour which passes by. My life is a moment which I have no power to stay. Oh my God, that to love you here on earth, I have only today. Amen. Oh, what do we got here? Well, come on in, Audrey.
I'm going.
Where are you going? Oh, okay. Love you. Yep. Going to get the kids there. You got our grandkids. We got custody of them. You probably already know that from my previous videos. But they're taking tests this week. We homeschool them, but they got to go to the school for these tests. And they were kind of nervous at first, but I think they really kind of like it now. But they got one more day. Tomorrow's their last day of these tests. I don't know what it determines. I mean, we had some practice things to do to help them with the test, and some of these questions they ask, I didn't even know what some of them. So, and I'm 63 years old. Well, I'll be 63 next month. It's I've been seeing on TV lately some of the stuff that they want to teach these kids in school. And I wonder why we got problems in this world. Some of the stuff they want to teach them. They're talking about, well, we're going to teach them a black history class. What's wrong with just history? I was watching some politician on there saying, they want to teach them about LeBron James and people like that. He said we need to teach them about Booker T. Washington, actually historians, people that helped build this country. Basketball players don't help build this country, or football players, or, hockey players or whatever. They don't help build this country. All they're doing is just disrespecting it by not standing for the flag, standing for Pledge of Allegiance, taking a knee. If you're going to kneel, pray, will you? All right. Here's our reading for today. Crush-proof faith. We are hard-pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Are you afraid you will fail? Gabrielle Coco Chanel was born in 1883, orphaned early in life and raised by nuns. She was set out to become a singer, but only after a couple of opportunities her singing career ended, and she took a job as a hat maker. There she began designing women's fashions, and in 1921 she introduced her first fragrance, Chanel No. 5. I'm sure you've heard of that one. Coco Chanel might never have created her beautiful perfume or become an icon in the fashion industry if her singing career had been successful. Failure is part of everyone's life. Today's verse indicates that as human beings, we can expect discouragement and failure, yet we are not crushed and not in despair as a result. When we fail, we can ask God to help us learn from that failure and to bring about positive changes in our lives. Are you afraid to fail? You need not be crushed. You need not be in despair. God is with you. Are you someone, as someone once said, yes, I stumble, but I know I'm stumbling in the right direction. In all my perplexities and distresses, the Bible has never failed to give me light and strength. Robert E. Lee said that. Interesting. The failure is part of, like being an entrepreneur. I've tried different things in my life. I failed at them. Some I had a little success with, I made a little bit of money here and there, but I've also lost money. That goes with like fear. I had a video yesterday, I think it was the day before, about fear. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. Yeah, about fear. Anyways, today, let's talk a little bit about, baby boomers and, coming to the age of retirement. What is best for you? What is, See, I worked jobs all my life. I worked different jobs. I was kind of like a dabbler. I couldn't do one thing more than I drove a truck over the road. I've dug ditches. I've installed satellite systems. I even had a job cleaning toilets one time, going around to all these convenience stores and cleaning the toilets. Wasn't a real glamorous job. It paid pretty good though. But it's a lot of people always go all about the money. I did the same thing too. If I could find a job paying more money, I go to that job, and then I discover I didn't like it. And I should have stayed with the job I had. There's a lot of people that do that. But, if you're retired or you're getting close to retirement, specifically if you're getting, close to retirement age, or even if you're retired. Now, what I did was I took my retirement at 62, because I did some research and studied this. And what's the average lifespan? 70 years old, maybe 75. There's a lot of people that don't make it to retirement age. And all that money that they paid into the government for their Social Security retirement, what happens to that money? Because it certainly doesn't get sent out to the other people that are, retired. No, it goes back into, the politicians use it for whatever they want, really. They've been stealing money from Social Security for years, and they're crying that it's almost broke, but yet they're the ones taking the money from it. So, it's kind of like a catch-22. But anyways, all right, so let's say you're working a job in a factory, or you're working a job somewhere, and you really don't have much benefits. Because companies today, it used to be years ago, you work a job, 30, 40 years, you retire, you had a nice little company pension. Some companies still do that, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them, they're sending like to work overseas and like that, because they don't really want to pay us anything. It's greed, really. Greed is just. So if you're retiring, a lot of people, most retired people, people in their 60s, they don't have any money saved. They don't have no 401ks, or if they do, they don't have much money into it, or they started investing in it too late, or, they invested in something that didn't work out and they lost their money or whatever. So all they have to rely on is the Social Security, or they want to keep on working because, they think, well, the longer I work, the more money I'll get in my Social Security check. All right, so let's do a little bit of math here. All right, let's say, all right, for full retirement for me, I had to wait till I was almost 67 years old, 66 and 8 months or whatever it is. All right. So I started collecting when I was 62. So that's what, 4.5, almost 5 years. All right, so 5 years. Let's say the average Social Security check is $1,000 a month. Let's use that. Okay. So that's $12,000 a year times what? 6 years. All right. 7 years. No, 5 years. All right. 5 years. All right. So 5 times 12. What is that? 60. Let's see. 5 times 2 was 10. That's $60,000. Okay. $60,000 that you're not getting from money that you paid into the government already. Okay, so let's say you wait. Let's see, if I would have waited until I was full retirement, I would have got about another $350, all right? So $350 times what? 12, let's see. Let's say about 4,000. Let's say $5,000 a year, all right? So that's, 5 times, it's $25,000, all right? Yeah, there's somewhere around there. But anyways, you kind of get the idea. That's another one, $5,000 a year you'll get. So you'll get, instead of getting $1,000, you might get, $1,400 a month or whatever. But what happens if, let's say, something happens and, you pass away before you're 65, before you even get to collect that 67, all right? You pass away before you get that. Your relatives don't get that money. You'll be working that whole time and not being able to enjoy your life. So here's what I did. Now, and I'm not no financial advisor or anything, and I didn't have no 401k. I got a little bit of money saved in a Bitcoin account. It ain't a whole lot, but it's a little bit. If I need an emergency cash, I can take it out of there. All right. But all right, let's say you get $1,000. That's $12,000 a year, and you can make up to what is it? $18,000 a year. So all right, so let's say you go out and get a job, a part-time job, making $10 an hour, working 20 hours a week, right? Or something like that. Let's say when you was working, all right, you was making $500 a week, right? All right, that's $2,000 a month. Okay. So you're getting $1,100, let's say $1,000 a month. So you got to have another $1,000 in income to make up for, the money that you lost when you quit working. All right. So you got $1,000. So you got to work and make it. So you can work a part-time job and make $1,000 a month and still make the same income that you were making and work half as much. So that means you can get more stuff done around the house. Or better yet, you can start yourself a little side hustle. Okay? So let's say it takes you a year to build up a little side hustle. All right? And you finally build it up enough to where you can make $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. When you're sick, when you get full retirement age, I don't think there's not. I think you can make up to $50,000 a year or something like that. You'd have to double check. But anyways, you can make more money. So if you build up this side hustle, or even if you build up the side hustle while you're working, you'll still have, even if you only work the side hustle, say a couple hours a week or 2 hours a week, and it takes you 5 years to make $1,000 a month or whatever, you're still way ahead. Or you can plan for when you retire. See, people don't plan is what it is. So you've got to plan. I know it sounds kind of confusing, but you got to plan for a retirement. So what you'll do, I can't stress enough that I say this in every video, get an education. Don't be trapped by working for somebody else and making them money. But some people like their job, so that's fine. You work your job, but always always have a side hustle. So that way when you retire, something that'll bring you like, an income where you don't have to really work that hard when you're done working. Because you won't have all the stress like working a regular job. Because I don't think there's any job in the world that's not stressful. Plan ahead. Put some money every month in a 401k or, an IRA or something, or invest in, stocks or like that. There's a lot of places out there where you can invest in stocks, and do that over time. But always plan ahead, because a lot of people that retire don't have nothing. They don't have no money saved. They don't have money for an emergency or anything. So, I've got a little bit of money. They say at least $500, which, I got a little $500 tucked aside to where, if I have an emergency, I can, like I got to patch my roof quick or something, boom. Of course, I don't have to worry about that now because I got a new roof. But, always have money set aside for something, and always, get a little side hustle or something. Start your own little thing, something you're interested in. Do your own thing, because, don't rely on the government. It's nice that we got the stimulus checks and like that. That helped a lot of people out, especially if you weren't working. And if you was retired, drawing Social Security, then that really helped you. You could catch up on some bills and like that. But, the thing to do is when you're going to retire is pay everything off. Get everything paid up. If you're in debt like that, like I retired early. I still had a couple of years to pay on my mortgage yet, but still, with my Social Security check and, some of the other income that I have coming, it takes care of the bills that I got. As soon as plus I've got I've got that little bit of money there in my Bitcoin account to where if I have any issues or anything, I've got, I've got access to that. I can just take it out and it'll transfer to my bank account. Always plan ahead. Always be, get an education so that you can, life is what you make it. If you want to be successful, get yourself a little side hustle, even if you only make a couple $100 a month or two or three, because you can build that up into, something for the future. See, a lot of people don't think about their future. I never did. I know that. I tell you that right now. I got the dabbler mentality. I always had to be doing something different because I get bored with, stuff. And I never really, I'd do some side hustles, but, I'd get bored after a while and I'd go do something else and something else. I never really focused until lately, Once I started educating myself a few years ago, and I saw the full potential of what is really out there. And I got certified as a minister. Then, I asked the Lord to help me, to guide me. And I seemed to have a lot more focus then. I still go off on, little tangents and like that, to kind of get sidetracked like that. But not as bad as I was, so, just say, Lord, Lord, help me or whatever. Help me do whatever I need to do. And it seems to work pretty good. A lot of people don't believe in Jesus or like that, but you'd be surprised what would happen if you let Jesus into your heart. I'm not, I am preaching because, but a lot of people get a misconception. Well, if I find Jesus and, I tithe and I do this and that, I'm going to get lots of money. No, it's up to you. You can follow Jesus and you can tithe. It's up to you. It's how you think, you got to get an education. Education is the most important thing that you can think of. A lot of people don't get educated. Like, let's take the black community, for instance. A lot of they say about racism like that, but a lot of it has to do with them not, having access to a good education, but they can have access if they just look in the right places. You see, it's all about just go to Christian Leaders Institute. You'll get all the education you need right there. Study part-time. You'll discover about the world. You'll discover about history. You'll discover about Jesus. You'll discover about business. How to make your life more prosperous. That's what the world needs to do instead of bickering and fighting over, other people are turning races against each other is what the problem is, because they want to control the power and the money. They don't care about us. That's why they try to suppress people. Don't let people suppress you. It don't matter what color your skin is like that. Don't let anybody suppress you. Work towards your retirement. Save a little bit here and a little bit there. Get yourself a side hustle. Get an education, get a side hustle. Have something to fall back on. Maybe if you work for somebody, get an education part-time. And then after you get educated enough to where you can say, well, I can do this, home business or, my side hustle or whatever. Do that. Don't rely on somebody else to make your money for you. I did that my whole life, and it really never got me nowhere until I just sat down and I said, I really need to get it, because I've had businesses before, and a lot of them failed because I wasn't educated enough. I was just went gung-ho. I had an aunt leave me a few $1,000s one time, and me and my wife started a restaurant. Oh, we was gung-ho. We was going to make all kinds of money like that. So, we invested a few $1,000s in it, and boom, belly up, because we didn't know how to run it. We had no clue what we was even doing because we wasn't educated. Or, I'll try to start a home-based business or something. I would try to start one, and, it would fail because I didn't know how to market myself, or I didn't, understand business or understand money. Then I got educated. Now I have a better concept of what money's all about, and and then a lot of people, when they start a little business like that, they'll go around and they'll chase everybody and they'll call. Don't chase people for money. Set it up so that they come to you. It's called attraction marketing. Let them come to you. Set your business up. Run some ads, Have people help you run ads. A place called Fiverr. That's one of the best places. You're going to have to pay more than $5 though. You're going to have to probably pay $25 or $50 or so. Or try a few, try to start with somebody with $10, and then if that don't work, or I'll run some ads on Facebook once in a while. I'll try an ad for $10. I'll run it for 5 days. I might reach a few hundred people, and we'll see what the results it is. I've had a few ads that made a little bit of money, but you got to test things. Send out some postcards to people, or, like I've got a little business right now that I do, where I buy domain names and I'll build a little website for it, and then I'll sell it to somebody. Like I've got a couple of domain names. I'm working on the websites right now, but when I get them finished, I'm going to find companies that would, benefit from this name, and I'll just send them a quick email, because you can always put on there, this is not spam, I thought maybe you'd be interested in this or something with this, domain name that I got. I've got other people that are interested in it. I sent out several emails, or other people may be interested in it. I'm taking offers on it. A lot of times I'll get somebody, hey, I'll give you $500 for that, or I'll give you $1,000. Boom, You don't have to spend a whole lot of money advertising like that. So, in conclusion, take your retirement at 62. If you got to, plan ahead so that you can get everything paid off, or do a side hustle, because you can make up to 18. So if you're making, let's say you're making 20 grand a year working, All right, so you retire from that job. Let's say you get $1,100 a month for Social Security, so that's what, 13,000 a year. Yeah, 13,000 a year or something like that. Get yourself a job making another 10 grand, 23,000 or whatever. That's $200 a week right there. You even get a job $300 a week. Go to part time. If you can get a job making $10 an hour and make 20 hours a week or 25 hours a week, you're working less. You're working less and you're making just as much money. Plus, you'll have time to do a side hustle, and you can, you can pay stuff off. Now, I'm not no financial expert like that, but I'm trying to save you some work, and a lot of stress. You can get a job working at Walmart for $8-10 an hour. So if you work 40 hours a week for $10 an hour, that's $400. Plus you got your Social Security. In about a year or so time, you'll have enough. If you have any debt or anything, you can pay it off. But I recommend you pay it off before that. You should try to cut, when you get older like that, try to cut back on working hours. Unless you're heavily in debt, then, draw your check and draw, from what is it? You can make about $350 a week, I think. So if you make that plus your Social Security check, that'll give you another probably $500 a month. So that's $6,000 a year you can use to pay off stuff. I'm not really, I said it before, I'm not no financial guru or anything. You might want to check into this, but take some of the stress off you, especially when you get older. Your body is weaker, and take some vitamins, exercise a little bit, but try to get yourself a side hustle from the day one. That way, you're not working for anybody else and stressing over, am I doing a good job or am I going to get fired? A lot of jobs are here today and gone tomorrow. So take care of you. Take care of your family. Don't take care of some boss that's going to, just be mean to you or, control what you make, control your destiny, control your own destiny. Yeah, I know I'm kind of babbling on here and there, but, I'm trying to stress, make a better life for yourself and your family. That way you'll have the money you can give to people. You can help other people. You can have a better life for your family, your friends. People can look up to you. I know there's some people that, they've got money and people, walk around kissing their butt because they think they're going to get something from them. That's no attitude at all to have. Don't think like that. Make your own money. That way you don't have to kiss anybody else's butt. All right, here's our closing prayer. Dear God, the beauty of your world is all around me. In the cool, soft air, in the trills and croaks of tree frogs, in the twinkling diamond gleaming stars. The darkness of night seems to hide a myriad of small creatures intent on secret business. As my day winds down, I praise you, who give a home, a task, and a livelihood to the smallest of your creatures, and have given me this home, and the task and provisions that await me tomorrow. Thank you that as I sleep, and the night creatures call and scurry, you do not sleep but watch over all with proud parental love. You are all good in essence. I know it. Your good love is the most beautiful part of your world. Amen. Amen, everybody. I hope I give you a little bit of insight on, retirement and planning. Plan a little bit. Work for you. I know, when you get out of school, you might, I can't afford to go to college like that. ChristianLeadersinstitute.org. Get yourself a free or low-cost education. Get a free certificate and start from there, Start with a little bit of education. Learn a little bit about business. Learn how to be self-sufficient. Don't rely on, I know probably the first few years you're going to have to rely on somebody else, but have a goal to work for, Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for your friends. Do it for the people that you love. This is Mark, the Controversial Christian. I'm signing off. We all love you, and we want you to be prosperous. Jesus wants you to prosper. God wants you to prosper. Have a blessed day, everybody.